Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Kelly. Today we are going to explore some standing poses in the Yoga Ashtanga Primary Series called Surya Namaskar A and Surya Namaskar B. These are the two warm-up flows, if you will, in the Ashtanga Primary Series. They give us the opportunity to start to build our breath and body connection. And what I mean by that is tapping into our breath, to our ujjayi pranayama, our victorious breath. That inhale through the nose, an audible exhale through the nose that carries our prana, our life energy, to every part of our body. These are standing poses. We're on our hastas and we're on our padas, our feet, throughout these flows. And they're both very forward facing. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we flow into the video. So I invite you to unroll your mat and we will begin. Okay, so we've got our mats unrolled and we're ready to explore some standing poses from the Ashtanga Primary Series, Surya Namaskar A and Surya Namaskar B, which means sun salutation. So it's a way of saluting the sun, lighting and acknowledging and firing off that energy within, your purpose, what inspires you to step on your mat and to breathe and to move. So that all begins from Tadasana mountain pose. So if you'll come to the top of your mat, I'll side face you so you can check out my alignment in this posture. The feet are about hip distance apart. Some people like them closer, some people like them further apart. Just whatever works for you so that you can lift the toes and place them back down onto the ground. And close your eyes and really start to bring yourself into this space, into this practice. Really rooting down through the feet and letting the energy rise up into the kneecaps, into your quads, your thighs, into your glutes, your backside, maybe a little squeezing in and up of the pelvic floor to engage your mula bandha. And drawing the energy up into your navel, pulling the navel in and up, engaging the uddiyana bandha. Protecting the low back by engaging your core. Taking your breath all the way from the bottom of your belly up into your lungs and all the way back down. Letting your shoulders melt away from your ears. Pulling the chin in. Sometimes we spend the day looking out over a steering wheel or a computer. So just a little gentle bring the head in alignment with the spine. And we'll take some nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Placing your palms together at heart center, we'll begin our first Surya Namaskar A. On an inhale, reach and lengthen your arms up high to the sky, rooting down through the feet and rising up through the fingertips. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Dropping the head, bringing the fingers down by the toes. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift, so feel some length in your spine. And on an exhale, plant your hands, step or shoot your feet back to that low push-up, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to the tops of your feet, straighten your arms, lift up through your heart center, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And on an exhale, lift your hips, drop your heels, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And take some nice deep breaths here. If this is your first downward facing dog of the day, you could put a bend in the knees and kind of alternate legs. Just feeling that energy move towards the heels and the feet to help ground you in this pose, spreading the fingers out nice and wide as well. Tuning into those nice deep ujjayi breaths. Let's come to the tippy toes, put a bend in your knees, exhale your way to the top of your mat. On an inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise all the way up, taking your drishti, your gaze up through the fingertips. And with palms pressing, draw them into heart center, Tadasana mountain pose, also called Samastihi. and breathe. So that is Surya Namaskar A. And we're going to break that down a little bit more. So we really spent a lot of time talking about that first pose, Tadasana, right? That's preparing you for the movement, right? Each movement has its own breath. You know, when we lift up, we're inviting an inhale and expansion. When we forward fold, we're inviting the release and the grounding. So we talked a lot about Tadasana, mountain pose. I want to talk about the next two, Uttanasana and Ardha Uttanasana. Uttanasana is the forward fold. So from Tadasana, we come down with a nice long spine and drop the head, drop the fingertips, and just soften through the back of the neck, forward folding. On an inhale, we lift up halfway. Take the crown of the head forward, draw the navel in, create a nice flat back. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Fold in. Right, so noticing the difference. Ardha Uttanasana, half lifting, inhaling, right, on the left. Exhale, letting go, falling in on the exhale. All right, let's just lift up halfway here and then step your hands, or bring your hands down, step your feet back to a plank pose. The next posture I want to talk about is Chaturanga Dandasana. And Chaturanga Dandasana is 4-limb staff pose. So the body is long like a plank. It's not sinking through the middle like a banana or a hammock. It's not popping up like a downward facing dog. It is the I in I am breathing. It is the capital letter I. It is a plank. It is long and strong. Right? So we find the strength, build the strength here, and really start to tap into that ujjayi pranayama. We're going to generally shift forward, bring the shoulders towards the fingertips, hugging the elbows into our side, lower halfway down, keeping the gaze forward. It's just a hover here. All right, shift forward to the tops of the feet. If the thighs and knees are down, you're in cobra. If the knees are up, you're in upward facing dog. Both wonderful options. And then when you curl your toes and lift your hips, drop your head, downward facing dog. Nice deep ujjayi breath here. Engaging the bandhas in the body, the energy locks, the mula bandha at the pelvic floor, the uddiyana bandha near your navel, jalandhara bandha, the chin lock. And come to your tippy toes, take a peek forward, using your exhale to travel to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, right? Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in. Uttanasana. Inhale, rise back up. And bring your hands to heart center. Tadasana, Samastihi. All right, from here, we're going to move into Surya Namaskar B. So not only have we just started building our breath in Surya Namaskar A, really building the vinyasa practice, the breath and movement connection, where we're lifting on an inhale, grounding on an exhale. Now we start to tap into that rhythm of our breath. Now we're going to go a little deeper and tap into the inner fire of the body by moving a little faster and holding poses a little longer. So the Surya Namaskar, if that makes sense, moving faster, because we're trying to get to the one breath, one movement in a sun salutation. But we are going from 7 poses in our sun A to 10 poses in our sun B. So they're very similar with the exception of the addition of these 3 poses. The first addition is called Utkatasana. It is fierce pose. And a lot of people call it chair pose. I call it chair pose. It's like, it looks like you're sitting into a chair. So it helps you remember it. But Utka, the root word is fierce. And it also is a reminder to use your fierce, powerful breath, your ujjayi, right? Your victorious breath. So we start the sun B from Tadasana at the top of our mat, but really the first pose is Utkatasana, the chair pose, the fierce pose. And as we flow through, we invite in 2 other postures, Warrior A on our right side and Warrior A on our left side. So really it's one pose. We just bring balance to the practice by doing it on each side. Virabhadrasana A or Virabhadrasana 1 They're both warrior one. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. It's pretty interchangeable in the yoga practice. All right, so we're going to start from the top of our mat in Tadasana mountain pose to prepare for our Surya Namaskar B. Letting your hands come to your side. Close your eyes. Feel the connection through your feet, really rooted into the earth. Drawing the energy in and up into the body. And then placing your palms at heart center. And taking a peek down at your toes. Sun B, in the Utkatasana fierce pose, we want the big toes kissing and heels slightly splayed. Now that doesn't work for everybody, but that's the way we're going to explore it today. All right, so on an inhale, you're going to bend your knees, drop your hips, sweep your arms up to Utkatasana, powerful pose. So in the Ashtanga practice, the palms are pressing, but if you like to have your arms open, that is okay. Shifting the gaze up, but if that hurts your neck, then shift the gaze forward. The idea is that you're sinking into your heels, so you should be able to see your toes if you look down at them. If not, then shift the hips back and sink down. We want to avoid a curvature in our low back here too, a hinge in our back. That can really hurt our low back, but we all have that natural curvature, right? So as you sit into your chair, think about tilting your pelvis forward and bringing the tailbone down, drawing the navel in, opening through your chest, and reaching the arms back up. You take a big inhale here, and as you exhale, Uttanasana, fold it. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale to Chaturanga Dandasana, step back and lower. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now inhaling the right foot forward, left heel squares, we come up to Warrior A. When I say left heel squares, I mean we're squaring off our hips with the short end of the mat. So I'm going to turn and show you what that looks. I mentioned in the introduction of this video, these are forward-facing poses. So our hips are squared off with the short end of our mat, with the direction we're flowing in this forward, upward, and down movement. So if the foot's turned out and the body's kind of turning out to the side, we'll get to poses like that later, but just as we warm up in our practice, we really want to feel the rooting down to the feet, the squaring off of the hips. Just like in this right side pose, you're pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward. Bending into the right knee and thinking about the back left knee lifting up. All right, so as I move back into Warrior A, maybe my feet are too wide. If I feel unstable, maybe I need to step it up a little. You know, can I shift? Can I explore? Can I do something that feels good, but also challenges me? If it hurts, stop doing it. That is the language of your body, pain. It's saying, please no. But if it feels uncomfortable or challenging, then this is where you want to be. Where you are building strength, what you're feeling is growth, reaching up to the sky. We take one more inhale, and then we'll take our Chaturanga Dandasana, adding in our up dog and our downward facing dog. All right, let's do that on the left side. Bringing balance, right? Left foot forward, right heel grounds. Hips and shoulders squaring off with the front of your mat. Right, so again, if it feels like you're opening to the side, see if you can bring yourself more forward facing. You could have heel to heel alignment here, but again, it might help to step the foot out a little bit. Right, and then reach your arms up high to the sky. Again, checking in from the ground up. So deep bend in the left leg, back of the right knee pulling up towards the sky, pelvic floor tilting under and engage, that Mula Bandha, navel drawing in, shoulders pulling down and away from the earth, the fingers reaching up towards the sky, maybe even letting the gaze follow. You take one more big inhale, and then exhale your hands down, step back to Chaturanga, Dandasana, upward facing, downward facing dog. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. In the Ashtanga Primary Series, we would take 5 long deep breaths here. And it's a great place to check in with how your body's feeling, with how your breath is moving. And after your fifth exhale, take a peek forward, hop, step, or walk your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, sweep the arms up, Utkatasana. Fierce pose. Then inhale, rise up. As you exhale, your hands to heart center. Back to Tadasana. Now, you'll notice we didn't do one breath, one movement there because we were kind of breaking down some of the newer poses we were adding. When you start to move a little faster, the heart starts to beat a little faster, and really need to tune in to the ujjayi breath. So that you're breathing in with purpose. You're breathing out with purpose. You're breathing in the energy. You're breathing out so you can ground in and stabilize yourself into the pose. All right, so now we're going to try Surya Namaskar B, doing one breath, one movement, which is a vinyasa practice, connecting the breath with movement. Also part of the vinyasa practice, you'll notice when we do a chaturanga dandasana, it's immediately followed by an urdhva mukha svanasana and an adho mukha svanasana. Those three poses together are also called a vinyasa, and you'll see them a lot in not only the Surya Namaskar A and B, but also in a vinyasa flowing class, right? You'll hear teachers say, and vinyasa. If you're like, I don't know what that means. Well, now you do. Vinyasa means take those three poses as you shift from one side of the flow to the other. And sometimes a teacher, and I do it too, will say, you can just leave those out, all right? If you are not feeling the energy, you feel an injury, you're working through something, coming to your edge means doing your very best and going as hard at it as you can. But if you're not feeling it, it's also that understanding of, I need to back off here, I need to modify, I need to soften into some of these poses, all right? So we're gonna do this vinyasa style, Ashtanga vinyasa style, one breath for each pose, right? So starting from the top of your mountain. Again, in the Sun B, when we do the chair, the Utkatasana, we want the big toes kissing, heels splayed. Placing your palms together at heart center. Give yourself a few breaths to bring yourself into the space, into the moment. Connecting with your breath. And we'll begin on an inhale. Bend your knees, drop your hips, sweep the arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Vinyasa, Chaturanga Dandasana. On the exhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana on the inhale. Adho Mukha Svanasana on the exhale. Right foot forward, left heel ground, squaring off your hips and shoulders. Inhale up, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, Vinyasa. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1 on the left. Exhale, Vinyasa. From downward facing dog, nice long deep breaths. Finish that fifth exhale, peek forward, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, bend your knees, sink low through your hips and heels, Utkatasana. Exhale, rise up, hands to heart center, Tadasana. All right, so those are our forward-facing standing poses. We begin at the beginning, right, of our standing poses is with our Sun Salutations, right? Awakening the light within, bowing and honoring to the choice we made to move, to breathe, to explore, and take another step on our yoga journey, right? Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.